Hi, I'm Gary Rollins, and I have a question for you. Have you ever wondered why so many people seem so unhappy? And also, why is it that so many people talk about change and wanting to change and trying to change and taking courses to change and reading books and self-help books and spiritual books and so many people wanting to change but so few seeming to do it? Now, why is that? Why are people unhappy and say they want to change and don't make much change? Well, I think there are some very important reasons for that. We're looking for change in all the wrong places. So, for instance, if I want to change my behavior, moving to Alaska probably isn't the best strategy for doing so. Wouldn't you agree? If I want to change my identity, who I see myself to be, my self-concept, swimming 12 times a week probably isn't going to change it a whole lot. So there are levels of appropriate change appropriate to the action. All right, so now the same thing is true on a much deeper level. So I've been exploring quantum physics and consciousness at some pretty profound levels. And I've been researching this in a way that really has shown me some incredible insights that very much relate to change, transformation, happiness, well-being, health, relationship. So I'm really curious about what makes people say yes or say no to opportunities, and I'm finding that it really has to do with their level of consciousness. So we have different layers or different levels of consciousness. There are certain circumstances. It's like energy field in that level of consciousness that will draw certain energy. You've heard all about law of attraction. Energy attracts like energy. Well, when you're in a particular level of consciousness, you're going to draw certain kind of energy. And that energy may well be physical pain. And so all the things you do in that field of consciousness, in that level of consciousness, won't change physical pain, because the problem lies not in the physical pain, which is merely a symptom. The problem lies in the level of consciousness. Einstein said you can't solve a problem by operating at the same level of thinking that created the problem in the first place. And that's what happens when we're talking about levels of consciousness. You want to change the circumstances associated with that level of consciousness, then we're going to have to go to another level of consciousness. It doesn't go... we're not going to make a change by doing the same things we've been doing. Thinking the same thoughts, feeling the same feelings, speaking the same language, meeting the same people, doing the same things. Okay, so what does all this have to do with you? Well, Linda McGee and I were talking a month or so ago, and she has a pretty big vision for Milledgeville. She says that there are a lot of people in Milledgeville who are so hungry and ready to make a change in consciousness, to shift some people's levels of thinking, acting, doing, and most importantly, being. So we decided that I would come down and do a weekend seminar, which I'll be doing at the end of the month. The details are in the email that carried this link. And that weekend is going to be a pretty spectacular thing. Not because I'm doing it, but because of the timing and the energy around it and the material, the content that we've put together here, that's going to make a real big difference in some people's lives. a real quantum leap. So what will it be about? It'll be about consciousness. It'll be about levels of consciousness and being able to identify some of those levels. Definitely using quantum physics and quantum theory to look at making that quantum leap. We want it to be a lot of fun. Both Linda and I are pretty committed to having a good time. I don't know why spiritual work and growth and transformation work have to be so damn serious. I think it can be fun, and that's the way I work with my weekends. That's what we do. We get very engaged, we get very related, and we have a really good time. People get very close. You develop an atmosphere of trust right off the bat, right on the Friday evening. And so it carries us through the rest of the weekend. Now, people are going to be looking at their lives. People are going to be exploring. They're going to be sharing themselves, connecting with each other. And you're probably going to see some miracles take place. Things that you just would not have believed were going to happen. And that's the stuff that makes it fun for me. I don't like boring. Got a little bit of ADD, and I need a little excitement. I need a little spark. So when I'm working with people, and I've been working with people for 40 years now, in healing and change work and growth and transformation, from ministry, psychotherapy, marriage and family therapist, shamanism, spiritual traditions of all sorts and practices, meditation, hypnosis, neurolinguistic programming, energy healing, quantum physics, consciousness work of all sorts. So I've done a lot of stuff. This weekend experience called Quantum Healing, Mystery, Miracles, and Manifestation is the culmination, is the bringing together of all that 40 years of work, taking the best and operating from a new level of consciousness. I've done some significant growing here in the last couple of years, and especially in the last month or so. Some new things have emerged on the radar screen. I would love for you to come join us. I'd love for you to be able to experience maybe a couple of miracles of your own. Maybe take a quantum leap into the change that fits you, that you long for. All right, so here are the questions that I'd like to ask you as you consider this weekend experience. Number one, is it possible? Do you believe that it's possible for you to make a change at the level of a quantum leap? I don't mean just an incremental change. I mean at a quantum level, a huge shift in who you see yourself to be, who you see the universe to be, what you see it to be, what you see life to be. Is it possible, do you believe, for you to make such a leap? Second question, do you want to make such a leap? Third, are you ready to make that leap? So if you believe it's possible, and you want it, and you're ready, what's to stop you? So in this weekend experience, you will get a chance to look at in a very deep level, what is your model of reality? See, most people don't understand this. We're all operating from a model of reality. Our reality is determining how things come to us, how we experience things, what we experience, what we're shutting out, what we believe. You hear a lot of talk about changing beliefs or looking at our beliefs. Well, those beliefs are contained within a structure of reality. So, and that structure is what I'm calling models of reality. Most people don't even realize they're operating from such a model, and therefore they have no possibility of ever making it change. And so they'll go on looking at circumstances and symptoms and trying to change what's outside them. and never realize that all change and growth lie within. So what I'm asking you to take a look at is, what if such a change were to take place? What if you decided, in identifying your own model of reality, that maybe you're ready for an upgrade? Maybe there's another model of reality. You may have grown up in a very confining mindset of your community or your church theology or your view of people. And I sure did. And my model of reality had some pretty interesting features, like you can never trust a city slicker. You can never trust anybody with money, because if they have money, they had to step on somebody to get that money. And you can never trust anybody with education. Those were verbally spoken to me repeatedly in my community and in my family. That was a part of my model of reality. Well, needless to say, that model had lots of fear in it and had lots to do with laying some imprints that continue even to this day, even though I've done tons and tons of work. So, and that's just a piece of the model. That's not the whole model. Those are just some of the features in that early model that has been upgraded and expanded. And now I've come up with a completely new model very recently, in the last few months, that I'm so excited about. And I want to share that model with you. It has some pretty controversial aspects to it that will definitely stir your thinking, stir your curiosity, maybe even threaten you a little bit. But these are the kind of things that are going to happen on the weekend, where reality is going to be challenged. Who you see yourself to be, the limitations, the beliefs, the conditions, the symptoms, the circumstances that surround you. Are those really necessary, or are they being driven, created, attracted, simply because that's the model you operate from and didn't know it? Aren't you curious to wonder what that model really looks like? What it entails? What it's doing to you? I hope you get interested in this. I hope you take a look at your life in a way that says, you know what? I don't need to keep doing the same things over and over and over, whether it's physical pain or health issue or marriage or relationship or financial or spiritual or just simple level of happiness, relatedness. Whatever it is that has been the ongoing theme that seems to keep recurring in your life, it doesn't have to be that way. You actually are the co-creator of your existence. You actually, therefore, are able to access, to tap in to that level that I call source that has unlimited resources, so that you can create from that source the life you desire, that you really desire. Really give it some consideration, what this weekend experience might be for you. If you could bring something to this weekend experience that really is going to affect your life, could really make a change, make a difference that makes the difference in your life. Not just another program, book, idea, therapy session, but something that really creates and opens the door to transformation, quantum leap, way up into the level of your potential and possibility. I would love to have you on this weekend. It's going to be an amazing experience. I've done these weekends for many, many years. This is going to be one of my all-time favorite weekends. I love what has been happening and what's been evolving, or how I've been evolving and pulling things together. I see things at a deeper and more profound level than I've ever seen. And all of a sudden, I'm attracting things that match this model. It is so exciting. And I would love to share it with you. And I would love for you to take a look at your life and your happiness and well-being. So give it a thought. Give it some thought. and I hope we see you there. Thanks.